Light and Assault Infantry as the basic unit in this game, they do have their duties. The Light Infantry is the cheapest unit to tank in front of your generals and to defend city and to skytrain and capture your enemy cities. Also to demoralize your enemies for providing advantages for your generals. And the second cheapest unit is our Assault Infantry. They have extra duty, which is to take out the landmines and clear a path for the heavy units behind to get across. In its max level, it can ignore the terrain effects and helping to capture the city much easier when there are no units around. And then our useful motorized infantry, 150% damage to armor units, which is good on the levels with many tanks units in the enemy side. It is great for defending cities for a few rounds before endings, and you can stop armor units without generals about 4 rounds without your attentions. For last, the mechanized infantry deal 170% damage to the stronghold like the bunkers, the city and fortress. Like I did in the clips, Yamashita with explosive skills in this infantry can 2 or even 1-shot the bunkers. Help a lot to push down some bunker lines, and you can clear the landmines for the troops behind as well, like the assault infantry. And a friendly reminder, in the plain terrain, the mechanized infantry is faster than the motorized one. However, in the complex terrain, the outcome is switched. For the commando, you will seldomly see them unless you are playing Conquest or playing daily invasions, so I would only provide some basic data of them. And most commandos just having a different effects on different terrain and not much special and useful for an obvious advantage. And here's the data and information of the special skills from different commando types. And now we move on to the elite troops, and the coming information is all about from level 4 to level 6. And for those information might not be 100% correct. So let's move on to the first one, Brandenburger. You can ignore terrain impacts with the rapid march that can operate again. It's surely the fastest elite force for all. The damage will not decrease even there's 1 HP left. And putting in a high mobility general can easily capture far city in the conquest mode, which means you can move from China to the Europe in much faster way. And then the Hawkeye is so far the best elite infantry. The 170%. The damage in jungles make it so lethal. And after testing a 6-star generals with Yamashita in jungle with that extra 175% damage to infantry, it costs 900 damage. Even higher than Guderian in Persian. Is that pretty ridiculous? Moreover, the Hawkeye can increase the chance of getting critical hit and the damage of critical attack by at least 40%. Where you upgrade the Hawkeye to the level 6, there will be a skill that can transfer the overflow critical attack to damage in next round. Take an example, you are having 120% critical chance, and the extra 20% will make your next attack 10% more damage, and Hawkeye is just a gay existence in this game now. And the third one, our combat medic. It can ignore terrain impact like the Brandenburger. With the high mobility general, it can heal an ally from a 1 grid, maybe 10 grid array. For the level 5 medic, it can heal 120 HP each time. With the Skytrain, it's literally a mobile healer whenever you are playing the Conquest or Pacific events or some ordinary scenario. The infantry really make this game much easier and friendly to our players. So before the meta exists, we suffer the pain of 6-star generals can't win just because the petty amount of health. Last reminder that the strongly agree suggests to put general with healing ribbon or the great soldier medal, because himself cannot be healed, so himself better have a healing skill that he will not die easily in the game. And the fourth one, the Alpini. Some old skills, just like the ignore the terrain impact, and it deals 175% damage in the mountain terrain, which means whenever you pick a country around a mountain in Conquest, or maybe the Hungary, or the Greek, maybe Italy, so you can put it in your first priority, because in your first round, since the country along the mountain usually not quite 3 stars, except Italy, and the lack of money make the single OP infantry in first 10 rounds can help you so much. And lastly, the input skills mean to lock down your enemy in place for a round within 1 grid. These skills that many enemies surrounding you in the city, so when you got rumor for the generals, you can lock down and demoralize them at the same time. And whenever your generals having a low health, you can easily Skytrain it away and doing the same thing on another place, which is pretty useful for any huge wave of enemy. And then the fifth one, the RPG Rocketeer. Well, mine one is just level 3, so take it for a reference. 165% damage to the armor units, and a rocket attack skills act like just a rocket artillery, but mostly aim to armor unit rather than anything else. Because the base damage and the lack of penetration skills make it only useful for some small tanks over the enemy gate generals. The reduced damage skill is only 15% in level 3. At the same time, just ordinary tank got 155% damage to infantry. You cannot compensate that, so generally speaking, the Rocketeer is playing like a commando rather than a elite troops. When its attack isn't 100% unnoticeable, it be doomed to be useless in the big events or some challenge gaming conditions, because its health is relatively unconsiderable compared to other tanks units, unless you upgrade it to the level 9, and that's another situation. The last infantry is me, just the engineering units, aka the tunnel digger and the landmine setter. With the landmines removing skills and the terrain ignoring skills, I would say it is a elite mechanized infantry. So far only useful for the defense, especially along the coasts. Tried in a event once, and place the mines near the coast can stop the heavy tank from landing easily, and it also works at narrow landscape like a very short 1 or 2 grid wide land path for the enemy to get through. So you can plant some mines and dig tunnels to escape back to your cities, and then after several rounds you can go back to the front line and place another mines. And that's all for the elite troops introductions. But to be honest, using elite troops sounds pretty good, but who would use infantry when you got tanks? So just take it as a reference, and coming on I will introduce some useful generals ranking skills and some information that you might need. for setting up your generals. The skills of marshals make it a higher survivability general. At the same time, the last two skills is editable, which you can switch to the one that you need. Maybe explosive, maybe rumor, or even jungle fighting, depends on what kind of elite troops that you want to use. However, the pay-to-win general is not in our considerations, including the Simo Heiha as well. So let's move on to the ordinary generals that we can afford and we can edit it. In all free-to-play generals, the Malinovsky is the best general. The decoy and strike skills make it an ideal general for using Rocketeer because the spreading can spread the effects to the enemies behind your targets, which can assist your allies to attack them afterward, while the organization skills make it less likely to die. For the skill picking issues, I will put it at the back because it really depends on the situation you are in. So let's move on to the next one, which is my rune stat. Except the two useless skills, I max out my rune stat and I put most of my medals, ribbons on him because it is my first infantry general that I buy. And now you can see much clearly when watching its own catalog. And here's the medal that I put it on. And here's the ribbon of healing. And we'll move on to the next one, which is Yamashita, and I max out all the skills and I max out all the mobility just to make it the fastest infantry that I got. As you can see, the explosive skills, I max it out and I use it quite oftenly for taking out the fortresses and bunker lines, which help me to save a lot of rounds numbers. For the ribbons I gave him is level 4 healing because he doesn't like Runestad having the great soldier medal, so he need a better healing skills. And the next one will be the MacArthur. I brought him before and he really quite bad to buy because the second and the third one skills quite useless and the attacking damage is not quite ideal as well. So let's move on to the silver generals, but it doesn't mean their strength is worse. So it's Mannerheim, and you can see that the jungle fighting, you can combine it with the Hawkeye Elite Force, which make him over 1000 damage per shot, so it's quite incredible. So you better buy it if you doesn't have enough medals to buy a better 6-star generals. So I will compare it with the Vasilevsky. Second and the third skill is useless again, so and even it is much expensive. It's 1080 medals, which make Mannerheim much attractive to the beginners. Winning generals doesn't mean they are bad, but they are not quite outstanding comparing to the 6-star generals, so be wise and buy better generals to save medals. And the next one is the skills issues. If you wanna buy terrain fighting, just the plain fighting is useful, and the bayonet charge isn't quite useful. And the next one will be the infantry leader and surely a must for the infantry generals. And the crowd tactics isn't quite outstanding. And the economical expert and the industry and technology expert is trash, just trash. And the replacement, you can buy it for the trash generals and the ace force if the generals equipped with it, so leave it there. And the guerrilla is a must as well. While the rumors, you can afford it, you can buy it, why not? So you can help with your battles, and the raider is a must as well. So there are 3 musts. For the explosive, you can buy it for the later on battles because there will be a tons of fortresses, the bunkers and the cities to destroy. And the crossfire is great for the war zones and you can take care of other things easier. And the inferior victory is so far the best skills that you can get, so just go unlock it. And that's pretty much for our general infantry guys. And that's all, and just for the reference, so hope it can help you some, and see you in next video.